let me know. But this is your 4.2. This is the web assign that you guys had to do. Again, not the same problems that you had, possibly, but the same concepts. So the first thing I want to talk about are the 6 trig functions and their abbreviations. You guys are super familiar with the first 3. What are the first 3 trig functions that you guys have learned? Sine, cosine, and tangent. All right, then we have their reciprocals. It's not inverse, guys. Inverse on your calculator is that little sine -1, tangent -1. Those are inverses, which we'll talk about later. But here, we're just talking about the reciprocal. What is the reciprocal to sine? No.
Cosecant.
Cosecant. You guys are going to make that mistake because you think S goes with S. It doesn't. Sine goes with cosecant. Cosine goes with secant. And then tangent is real easy. Cotangent. Okay? So on your quiz, I'll give you questions like this, like the last few that we do. And I'm going to say, identify all 6 trig functions. You have to be able to tell me them. When given an ordered pair, okay, you guys will use the unit circle. You'll get your x value and your y. What corresponds with the x value? Sine, cosine, or tangent? Cosine. So my x value of the ordered pair is my cosine. So 1 over x is my secant. My sine value is y. My cosecant is 1 over y. Tangent is one where you have to do a little bit of work. But tangent is y over x, right? So cotangent is x over y. If you guys don't memorize that or understand that or know that, you'll get them all wrong in the quiz. So this is really like a right or wrong kind of thing. We're going to go over it a million times, but you have to pay attention. Now, this first example, they give you an ordered pair that has numbers. They just give it to you. I'm going to give you the unit circle. I'm going to say, use pi over 3. So you have to find pi over 3 on the unit circle, find out what the ordered pair is, all that stuff. But here, we have the ordered pair of negative 12 over what? 12 over 13. And then the other one is what? Negative 5 over 13? Okay. Right away, you know 2 of the 6 functions. What do we know? Sine and cosine. So the sine of this angle theta that they gave us is the y value, correct? What's the y value? Negative 5 over 13. What is the cosine?
Negative 12 over 13.
That's the x value, negative 12 over 13. Now, some of you guys will do things differently. Some people like to do sine and cosecant. They like to do cosine and secant. They like to do tangent, cotangent. Some people like to do sine, cosine, tangent, then do the other way. It doesn't matter. However you guys think is perfectly fine. I'm going to go through and do the reciprocals of what we have already. Sine goes with what? Cosecant. So 1 over negative 5/13 really is just going to do what? Flip it. The reciprocal function. So what is the reciprocal of negative 5/13? Negative 13. Sine stays the same. Negative 13 over 5. So now I'm going to look and I'm going to say, okay, then I'm going to do cosine and secant. Well, what is the reciprocal to negative 12/13? Negative 13 over 12. Everybody with me? So now we'll do tangent and cotangent. Tangent, remind me again, what is tangent?
Y over x.
Okay, so I'm going to take the y, put it over the x. So my y value was negative 5/13 over the x value, which is negative 12/13. Yes? When we have fractions, perfect. We keep, change, flip. Yes? All right, what happens to my 13s?
They cancel out.
What happens to my negatives?
They cancel out.
So I'm left with
5 12.
5 over 12, 5/12. Tangent goes with what? Cotangent. So if my tangent is 5/12, what's my cotangent?
12 fifths.
12 over 5, 12 fifths. You guys good? We agree? Okay, so now we're just going to use the unit circle and answer these questions. This first question says, what is the ordered pair for pi over 4? So go to your unit circle. Find pi over 4. What is the ordered pair for pi over 4? Square root of 2 over 2, square root of 2 over 2, right? Okay. So it's root 2 over 2, comma, root 2 over 2. Now, this question doesn't ask you this. Yeah. Yes. This question does not ask you this, but you guys should be able to tell me 3 things just by looking. What is the sine of this angle? Not negative. Look at it. Positive root 2 over 2. What's the cosine? What? Say it. Root 2 over 2. So what's the tangent going to be? Where'd you get that? Correct. Root 2 over 2 divided by root 2 over 2. Anything divided by itself is 1. Okay, good. So let's go down here to 5 pi over 4. Go to your unit circle. Where is 5 pi over 4? Third quadrant. Same thing, except it's negative. This is where you guys might make mistakes because you're being careless. You have to remember the negative signs. So in this case, my sine is what? Negative root 2 over 2. What's the cosine? What's the tangent? Positive 1. Because a negative divided by a negative is a positive. Very good. Good job. All right, let's look 2. Look at your unit circle, guys. Can you please tell me the ordered pair that goes with 11 pi over 6? It is the fourth quadrant. Square root of 3 over 2, comma, negative 1/2. So tell me what the sine and cosine are. Sine is what?
3 over 2.
Nope. Sine is negative 1/2. Cosine is square root 3 over 2. Okay, good. I'm just going, I want to keep reiterating this. So on your quiz, I'm going to give you one that talks about all 6 trig functions. Here, it's only the first 3 for a couple of them, just to kind of get you going. But pi over 6, where is pi over 6?
First quadrant.
What is the ordered pair?
Root 3 over 2. 1.
Okay, so I have root 3 over 2 and 1/2. So remind yourself again, sine is what value? The y. So what's the y value here? 1/2. Good. Cosine is what value?
Root 3 over 2.
Root 3 over 2, it's our x. And then my tangent is when we have to do a tiny little bit of work. It's y over x.
1/2.
So it's 1/2 divided by root 3 over 2. Keep, change, flip. I have 1 over root 3. I think some of the WebAssign questions let you leave it like this. Some of them didn't. You guys, this is not simplified. How do I fix? Good. We're going to rationalize the denominator. Multiply denominator and numerator by root 3 over 3. So I get root 3 over what?
3.
Root 3 over 3.
And we can't use a calculator at all.
So now if I go down here, okay, I'm not trying to be tricky on this. I'm just bringing some things to your attention. This says 5 pi over 4, correct?
Mm-hmm.
What's in front of it? A negative. So the negative gives you what? What is that telling me? Not to distribute a negative 1. What do we hear over here?
The sign is, it's like
The direction, Gigi. Good. So, guys, if I was on my unit circle and I went to 5 pi over 4, it's right here, correct? And to get there, I would go the positive direction. I'd go up. So I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 spaces to get there, right? But in order to find negative 5 pi over 4, I would go 10 spaces, but in which direction? The other way. I'd go down. That's what that negative tells you. It tells you the direction. So I'd start here and I'd go that way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So what angle am I really looking at? 3 pi over 4. What is the ordered pair here?
negative root 2 over 2. Root 2 over 2.
Okay, so it's negative root 2 over 2, positive root 2 over 2. That negative sign tells you the direction to go from your initial side. Yes, sir?
Why did you go 10 spaces?
Because 5 pi over 4 originally, if I started here, and I went in the positive direction to 5 pi over 4. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's 10 spaces. But since they told me it was negative, you go however many spaces it is, but the opposite way. Yes, ma'am? Correct. Actually, negative 5 pi over 4, the equivalent is positive 3 pi over 4. Yes, sir?
Is there ever going to be an equation that's not on the like unit circle?
Yes, but we're not in this section. We'll get to that. We'll get to that in like 4.4.
But that's not included.
No. Everything I'm going to give you is on the unit circle.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so guys, sine, cosine, and tangent's real easy for this one. What is the sine? Positive root 2 over 2, because it's my y value. What is my cosine? Negative root 2 over 2, because it's my what? X value. Tangent is y over x. I know you guys can do this in your head, but if you show me my y value is positive root 2 over 2 divided by my x value, which is negative root 2 over 2. So root 2 over 2 times negative 2 over root 2. What happens to my 2's, my root 2's?
Cancel out.
What's the only thing that doesn't cancel? The negative, so it's negative 1. You guys are going to have to be really careful with signs. Yes?
So you could just write equals negative 1.
Yep. But just make sure that that's the right answer. All right, we'll do one more of these, and then we'll get to the ones that are kind of like going to be on your quiz, and then we're done. 11 pi over 6. Where is 11 pi over 6? Quadrant 4. What's the ordered pair? Root 3 over 2 and negative 1/2, right? So I already know sine and cosine, just looking. What's the sine?
Negative 1/2.
Sure. Sine is negative 1/2. Cosine is root 3 over 2. And my tangent is y over x. So negative 1/2 divided by root 3 over 2. Keep, change, flip. What happens? Yep, so negative 1 over root 3. Rationalize, God bless you. So you have negative root 3 over 3 is our tangent. This is not hard. It's just a matter of remembering positive 3. Whoops. X does what y does. All right, let's do these last 3. This will be similar to the last couple questions on your quiz. And then I'll talk about what your homework assignment is tonight. So the first thing I'm going to do, guys, is if I have an angle, whether it's in degrees or radians, I identify the ordered pair. So on your unit circle, 5 pi over 6, what is the ordered pair? Look at it, 5 pi over 6. Okay, so it's negative root 3 over 2 and 1/2. Notice, guys, the only thing we ever use is root 3 over 2, square root of 2 over 2, and 1/2. The only thing that changes are the signs. So if you miss a sign, the whole problem is wrong. I cannot give you partial credit because the sign is very, very, very important. It tells you what quadrant we're talking about. So again, in this case, you can either do the whole left side, sine, cosine, tangent, and then do the whole right side, or you can do sine and its reciprocal, cosine and its reciprocal, however you want to do it. But my sine is the y part of my ordered pair. So what is my sine? 1 over 2. Cosecant is 1 over y. If I put 1 over 1/2, what am I really doing? 2 over 1. I just flip it. Do you have to put the 1 underneath? Do you have to put the 1 underneath? Yes or no? No. So my cosine is my x value. What is the x value here? Negative root 3 over 2. So my secant, 1 over x, what do I do with negative root 3 over 2? Flip it. So this becomes negative 2 over root 3. And immediately I say, oh wait, I can't leave it like that. Why not? Can't have a square root underneath. So let's rationalize it. This just becomes negative 2 root 3 over 3. Tangent, again, tangent is what over what?
1/2 over negative.
Good, y over x. 1/2 over negative root 3 over 2. So we keep, change, flip. How do I fix this?
Negative root 3 over 3.
So it's negative root 3 over 3. Right? And then cotangent is x over y. What's my x value? Negative root 3 over 2 divided by 1/2. So keep, change, flip. What happens to my 2's? So I'm left with negative root 3. You with me? 2 more. This next one is not meant to be tricky. A lot of people say, oh, I want a million of these on the test, these or quiz. These are mostly the ones that you guys make mistakes on. Where is 3 pi over 2 on my unit circle? Somebody told me today it wasn't on it. It's there.
It's right in between the third and fourth.
It's right in between the first. This is right here. What is my ordered pair for 3 pi over 2? 0, negative 1. Guys, pay attention as I do this, please. It's 0, negative 1. So remind yourself again. This is my x, this is my y, correct? Sine. Is it negative 1?
Yeah.
Thanks. My sine is my y value. What is the y value of this ordered pair? Negative 1. If I do my cosecant, it's 1 over negative 1, which equals what? Negative 1. Okay, good. Now my cosine is what value? 0. Agreed. What is my secant?
Undefined.
It's undefined. It's 1 over 0. A lot of you will mess up and be like, oh, that's 0. It's not. Where is 0 in this case? It's in the denominator. Can you have a 0 in the denominator? So you would tell me that this one is undefined. What does WebAssign want you to say?
Impossible.
So if you write impossible, that's fine. I have no idea why they use the word impossible, but whatever. And then we have for tangent. What is my tangent? Y over x. So what's the y value? Over x, which is
Undefined.
undefined. Good. So my cotangent is x over y. My x is negative 1. Just kidding.
No, 0.
Thank you. My x is 0 over negative 1. Well, what's 0 divided by negative 1?
0.
0. So we're good there. Don't get lazy or sloppy, and as soon as you see a 0, just go, oh, it's 0. It depends on where the 0 is, so just make sure you're paying attention. Last one, and then we're done. 11 pi over 6. We've talked about this one already, but where's 11 pi over 6? Quadrant 4. What's my value? Okay, again, it's root 3 over 2, negative 1/2, correct? So root 3 over, that's terrible. Let me, hold on. Pretend that didn't happen. Root 3 over 2, and what kind of 1/2? Okay, negative 1/2. So my sine, remind me again for the 27th time, what is sine? The y value. So my y value is negative 1/2. My cosecant is 1 over y, which all I really do is just flip. So what is 1 over negative 1/2? Negative 2. Or negative 2 over 1, however you want to write it. What's my cosine? It's my x, so it's root 3 over 2. So my secant is 1 over x. So what do I do?
2 root 3 over 3.
2 over root 3. Can't have it.
2 root 3 over 2.
So I have 2 root 3, perfect, over 3. And then here, my tangent is what over what?
Y over x.
Good, y over x. So my tangent is negative 1/2 divided by root 3 over 2, correct? So negative 1/2 times 2 over root 3. I get negative 1 over root 3, which is what?
Negative root 3 over 3.
Negative root 3 over 3. Good. So then I go, my cotangent is x over y. So it's root 3 over 2 divided by negative 1/2. Keep, change. Huh? Keep, change. Okay, just make sure we're still with it. What happens to my 2's? Cancel out, so I'm left with what? Negative root 3. Okay, we good? All right, I'll upload this in just a minute.